Beautiful weekend, and I don't know. It just seems like this year has just flown
It's going way
by.
fast.
We're in August now. How did that happen? I don't know.
I
But
think
anyway,
we were just an autopilot till now.
we were in autopilot. In fact, that is really perfect. Joffrey McClung is here, and she is going to help us get through our lives on being more mindful. And I should, I really do take that time to do that, but sometimes it's just you don't even think about it, and you're already back on autopilot. So, Joffrey, welcome, and thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be with you.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Well, I started out back in the day, back in the theater world in New York City, and did theater and off-Broadway and did some film work. Then moved to media producing, and I became a producer for 15 years. Then when my mom got cancer, I moved back to Texas to take care of her. And that's where my life took a 180-degree turn. And I like to say I came out of the spiritual closet when I moved to Texas and started writing about my spiritual journey that I've been on for over 30 years. And it's been quite a journey, I have to tell you. Quite a change.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, and I'm very sorry about your mom.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's kind of I lost my mom like 3 years ago. How long has it been since?
It's been 10.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That's the hardest thing I ever went through in my life.
Me
The hardest thing.
too. But then all of a sudden, it's like you kind of regroup and rethink everything, And it sounds like that's what you did, right, Joffrey?
Oh, I certainly did. I ended up writing 2 books out of that grief period. I was in such grief. Like you said, my mother, it just broke my heart.
Yeah.
Even though I was expecting her to go, somehow when it happens, it still breaks your heart.
It does.
And I ended up writing 2 books and ended up finishing my inner work I had been doing for a few years already, but really used it to kind of finish up my inner work and ended up writing that second book on self-love, which I would not have done, frankly, if I was not doing the grieving and needed something creative to get me out of the grief.
I understand. So let me just share with my listeners. Your first book was How Learning to Say Goodbye Taught Me How to Live. What a profound, thing. I mean, how did that happen to you? Like, what woke you up?
That was really, I was in the middle of grief with my mother, and then my best friend, over 30 years best friend, soul sister, so to speak, called to tell me she had stage 4 breast cancer. I mean, I hit the floor because she really is like a sister. And we had been doing spiritual work and inner work for over 30 years. So we decided we were going to keep doing it. She was going to do what she needed to do. And we were going to stay conscious and keep moving towards self-love. And that book really highlights how I helped her to get to self-love before she moved on and passed on. And how my self-love helped her do it. It was
gave me chills. Oh. God. And then your second book is The Heart of the Matter, correct?
Yes, it's a workbook and guide to finding your way back to self-love. Because the first book, I sort of talked about my friend and what we were doing every day medication-wise in order to keep growing in love. But I never really told anybody how we got to self-love to begin with. So the second book really is sort of, the first book should have been written, the second book should have been the first book.
Well,
the second book is how to do it.
There you go. I love it. Well, I would love you to send me copies of your book, and maybe, you know what, would you want to give out a couple books to our listeners?
Sure, I certainly would. I have a couple of books of each of them to give out.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll open up our phone lines for that. If any of our listeners are thinking that this has got their name on it and maybe they're going through a hard time and they really want to just have something like this to hold on to, we'd love you to call in right now at 805-419-0008, 419-0008. Joffrey, talk to us about, are you living on autopilot? Why do so many people move through through this world on autopilot?
Well, it certainly seems like the majority of the people are moving through this world on autopilot. Supposedly we're supposed to be more connected because of our electronic devices and whatnot. But I actually think it's the opposite. There was a recent study, not that I give a lot to studies, but sometimes they do make sense.
Right.
There was a recent study that said over 50% of Americans would rather digitally communicate instead of talking to the person. I mean, let that sink in for a moment. Kim, half of us do not want to look into someone's eyes or hear the tone of someone's voice or observe somebody's body language when we communicate with them. I think that's autopilot on overdrive.
I totally agree with you. I don't like, I'll have a lot of girlfriends that will text me and I'll be like, sorry, I'm calling you. And they'll be like, oh, okay. And you think they might not really want to talk, or they're busy, or they're trying to multitask, so they're not wanting to, set that time apart to sit there and have a good conversation. But, there's a time for texting, and then there's a time to sit and really look in somebody's eyes. You could really feel their soul, or get
And you
to
can
know
always
them.
get misconstrued with a text.
Oh my gosh,
Or
yeah.
no.
If
Oh
somebody,
my gosh, yes.
yeah, if
Especially
somebody
you don't put the period.
capitalizes, yeah, or whatever,
Capitalize like they're yelling at you.
yeah, exactly. So, yeah. But, I think a lot of people are just not aware that they're just, going through life instead of living their life.
Oh, I think that's definitely true. Most people are doing their routines, and by human nature, we have routines. But with the digital things we've added, our routines have turned into autopilot, and people are just doing what they're doing, keeping their blinders on, not being observant to what's going on around them. It's really sad.
Yeah.
I think texting is fine when you're making a date. Meet me here at 10. I'm already here at the bar. Whatever you're doing.
Right.
But when you really got something to say to somebody and you're texting them, that's really a chicken's way out. You're trying to avoid having a conversation. that needs to
Oh,
be had.
yeah. Or a husband or a wife breaking up with her, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I don't
want
want
to see you anymore.
Really? That's, it's very, there's some ways of it being disrespectful. So how do we live in the moment?
Well, first we have to admit to ourselves we're not living in the moment.
Mhm.
That is the first rule, because I didn't really realize that till I was writing the second book, and I was talking to people and guiding them through their journey, and realized they were totally unaware that they were sound asleep. So I needed to wake them up before I could send them on their journey. So first you have to know you're sound asleep, admit it to yourself, and then see what areas you are sleepwalking through. For instance, I have some examples. Let's say you go to the grocery store or the dry cleaner or the deli. Do you share a moment with the person behind the counter? Do you know anything about their life story? In New York, I knew everybody's life story. The deli guy, my dry cleaners guy, I knew their whole life story. Do you take a moment to share a moment with the person behind the counter?
Right.
That's number one.
I love
That's
that.
easy.
Yeah, you know what,
Number
Joffrey,
two- yeah.
really quick on that one. Everybody's got a story.
They do.
And
I say that all the time.
I know. And
Everybody.
obviously I'm a radio host and I love to hear and interview people, but way before I even did this, I always so tell me a little bit about yourself, or if somebody is, a checker in a grocery store, I'm like, hi, how are you today? And they don't answer. I'm like, oh, is it a bad day? Or are you having a hard time?
You need to look in their eyes too.
Yes.
Always make eye contact.
Yeah. And
People like to tell their stories. They
They
really
do.
like to tell their stories.
yeah, so I love that. So what would number 2 be?
Number two would be, do you get upset or angry when your routine or schedule is suddenly changed? I mean, does it feel like your whole day is ruined when one thing does not go according to your plan? You're living on autopilot if that's how you feel.
Wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is for
There's
me.
a girlfriend, and she's kind of a new girlfriend, and her friend that's really close with her said, if you call her up and say, hey, let's have lunch, she'd be like, next Tuesday at 1:00, I could fit it in, but not before. And I'm like one of those, sure.
Let's go now.
How could I fit it in? Okay, and that's why I'm always at so many events. I'm like, okay, I want to make sure I'm not leaving any life on the table, right? No. All right. What would be number 3?
Number 3, do you notice your surroundings when you're heading out somewhere? Or is it about getting there as quickly as possible? Or if you're walking somewhere, is it about texting as many people as possible before you get somewhere? People literally get mad at the car in front of them instead of observing the nature that's around them, the environment that's around them, taking in the environment. People are literally just trying to get wherever they're going as fast as they can.
Really good advice.
Yeah.
Wow. I do want to remind anybody that's just waking up with us, starting your day in a positive way here on the Kim Pagano Show. We're talking with Joffrey McClung, and we're talking about find out if you are sleepwalking through your life. I love that. I love that. And if you are, we've got some amazing tips here. And Joffrey actually is going to give away a couple books. So if you are interested in that, call in right now at 805-419-0008. Joffrey, continue on. Really good stuff.
I got a couple of more to give you before I move into how you fix this stuff.
Okay.
A couple more. Do you multitask everything? Now,
Yeah.
everyone loves to multitask. When you're on a call with somebody, do you check your emails? Do you text someone else? Do you place your order with your assistant? Do you have to multitask everything? Because if you do, you're on autopilot.
I'm trying not to do that as much
I
anymore.
do.
I'm
I
like,
check my emails.
I know.
Everything.
So like when we're here, I'm here, unless my kids call me or my, husband, but yeah, you got to be in the moment.
Yeah, I think multitasking came out as very popular when that term first came out many years ago, but now we've taken it to new heights where it's taken over everything, and it's got to stop. Frankly, it's got to stop, people.
I love it. Okay, and then what's your last?
And lastly, I would say when you are with friends or loved ones, do you split your focus with them with your phone or your other devices? That sounds simple, but how many people? I've sat at a table having breakfast with somebody who came into LA to see me. I hadn't seen them in over 2 years. And they sat there and checked their phone at the breakfast table. I thought, really? What a Saturday afternoon, what are you checking your phone?
Mm-hmm.
Are you with the people you're with?
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? And I have, it's funny. I remember one of our guests said, like, when you have, like, dinner with your family, or everybody puts their phone in a basket, right?
That,
yeah. And I just think, spend that moment. Even there's times that I'm driving and I'll be like, and then I go, no, you could do it right when you get there. You'll take a second to take a moment to take a deep breath, to walk through life, to notice all the beauties that are around. So how do we fix this problem, Joffrey?
Once you've decided your area, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to fix those areas. And these are 5 areas that you can choose one and fix that, and then choose another and fix the other one. But the 5 things you need to do to live in the moment. Number 1 is engage. Like I said, people who are awake and present, engage with the people and situations in front of them. Keep your phone in your pocket and engage with the person in front of you. You'll feel better, and so will they.
That's
Friendliness is contagious.
Right.
That's
Great.
number 1.
Okay.
Number 2, it's flexible. Again, if you're awake, you're going to go with the flow. Now, this can be difficult at first, but you'll get better once you begin to experience the benefit to being flexible. You will realize that no change is so significant that it deserves to ruin your day or someone else's within your shouting vicinity. Learn to start to be flexible and realize nothing is that important.
I agree.
Number 3, observant. Again, if you're awake, observe your surroundings. People who are awake, they soak it all in. They notice the sound, the colors, the people, the buildings, the nature that's all around us that makes life richer and more enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
Commit that when you're going to head out somewhere, you're not going to be on the phone. You're not going to be checking your phone. You're literally going to soak up your environment until you reach where you are going. That alone will stop road rage, number 1. I started doing that when I moved back down to Texas, and I didn't drive in New York, but down here you drive. And I started to notice the trees instead of the car in front of me going so darn slow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It really helped to calm me down. So observe your surroundings and take it in. We're in a beautiful environment on this planet. Take it all in.
And with something like that, okay, I have, I used to be in such a hurry everywhere, and I would be driving and kind of get upset. I was one of those people, not road rage, but now I just go, okay, thank you. I'm supposed to be here, not there. I mean, God saving me from an accident or whatever. I went to the pharmacy, and there was a new lady learning, and you could tell she was so frustrated, and she was taking forever. And I went up to her and I was like, you must be new. And she's like, oh, yeah, she was very frustrated. I said, I'm sure the next time I come back, you'll be amazing. I came back there and she goes, you were the one that made me not quit.
Not quit.
Oh.
And, and I was like, really? And my husband's like, that was my wife, but that is, these people, and she goes, this is my dream job now. And she never gave up. But that's what we need, just to take some time and have a little bit of patience.
Mm-hmm.
So
patience,
I like that.
And then you engaged and observant. You did them all in that.
Yeah, well, there you go. Okay, so what is number 4?
Number 4 is attention. People who are awake give their full attention to the task at hand. Stop multitasking everything. It's not necessary, and it actually adds more stress rather than making life easier. Make it your goal to finish a task before you begin the next one. That is really important. I started doing that. I used to do a lot of multitasking back in New York in my producing job. And once I stopped doing that and began to do one thing at a time, I actually got better at everything.
I know, because sometimes you don't finish anything.
I'm good at that.
Yeah,
I start the kitchen, go to the bathroom, start the bedroom.
So now I finish one room, I go to the next, and and even if I'm like, okay, I don't even have time for the next room, but I'm going to finish this one. You got to finish something. So, okay, and what's the last one?
Appreciate. People who are awake, appreciate the moment they're in and the people they are with. Show appreciation to the people you are with by being present in the moment.
I
Do
love
not
that.
sit on your phone.
There you go. And be on time.
Oh yeah.
That's a big
and
one.
That's
Appreciating. Yeah.
Appreciating.
Yeah. Appreciating their time, your time.
And not saying yeah, but, and giving excuses.
Right. Right. So,
Exactly.
yeah, I love it. Joffrey, how do we find more about you? And I thank you so much for being a guest here on the Kim Pagano Show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I love talking about this stuff and spreading a little bit of light around the world.
I love
You can
that.
reach me at JoffreyMcClung.com, or you can just type in It's All About Self-Love.com, ITS, allaboutselflove.com. It'll take you to my website. You can read some free chapters of my book and read my blog.
I love it. All right, Joffrey, you have a great
so
rest of your
much.
day, and please share our show with everyone, and we look to talk to you again.
Oh, thanks for having me. You guys have a great day.
All right,
You as
you
well.
too. Take care.